Most of the meetings I go to is just me. Sometimes people assume that I'm the secretary and that I should go get them coffee. It's incredibly challenging, and sexism exists. It exists in business, probably I would say more than science in a lot of ways. So once you get into the business of science, it can be the sexism sort of compounds itself.
Some of the challenges that I faced of being a woman in science is a major one that I believe all women face, is that they get paid less than their male counterparts.
There aren't very many women in engineering, so there's currently, I would say, a lack of mentors in that field for women.
As a female faculty in academia, I would like to talk about impostor syndrome. If you're not familiar with the term, it's meant to describe these emotions of being inadequate despite your excellence, these emotions of feeling like an imposter, an intellectual fraud, and being afraid of getting caught at any point. So studies have shown that about 70% of high-achieving women have dealt with this emotion at one point or another. If you're female in STEM, if you're aspiring to be one, and despite your track record, you're still dealing with these emotions, just know that you're not alone. And the very first step to address this issue is acknowledge that you are experiencing those emotions. Try to sign up for implicit bias, diversity programs, and educate yourself on the matter.
And I think you need to have allies with the people, the men and the women that you work with, to create a team, because I believe that no one is successful by themselves, and we are only as successful as the people we surround ourselves with. So the first thing you need to do is identify those people who can be your mentors and your supporters, and really work together as a team to create something great. All the best work that I've done has been collaborative.
You never know who you're going to meet and what opportunities may be afforded because you put yourself out there, or what opportunities can be created for you because you showed up and maybe you asked.
Never being afraid to ask for something, whether it be a promotion or a salary increase or anything for that matter. Do not be afraid to go with what you want because you feel like you are being seen less as your male counterpart. Because you are seen less than your male counterpart, that, for myself, that makes me stronger, and it makes me want to strive and do better and go after anything that I want and not be afraid.
No one knows better than you the talent and skills that you have to offer. So make sure that when you go into an interview or even on an application, don't underplay, the value of your knowledge.
Be the one who breaks the mold. I had a lot of people, as an academic, a lot of people come up to me and say, "You don't look like a professor," to which I asked, well, what does a professor look like?
What I've learned by watching all of these women is that, we think differently than maybe our male counterparts, and that's a good thing. We should celebrate that, and we should use our experiences as people and as women to influence how we do science, how we think through problems, how we solve problems, and bringing that to the table is a really good way to diversify the normal thinking.
When I go and give talks to students about encouraging women in the workplace, I charge the men to support women in the workplace, but I charge the women to support other women and to support minorities in the workplace too.
I would say that those of us who are already in the profession to be able to be mentors to the incoming young women so that they stay in the field.
I think what I like best about my profession, especially as a zoo veterinarian, is that I get to see something different every single day. Every day is completely different. I never do the same thing twice. So I might start out the day by looking at a teeny tiny little frog and then end the day doing an ultrasound on an elephant or looking at the eyes of a gorilla or something like that.
I like the fact that there's always something new to learn. I don't know everything, and I actually like that. I like the fact that I can come in and learn something new every single day. There's nothing there's not a day that goes by that I don't learn something new.
What I like most about my profession is that I get to inspire what I like to say future generations of Rachels. When they walk in through the zoo, I hope that I can make that connection with that guest so they have what I call aha moments, when they realize that they can make a difference for wildlife. So it's in their choices, whether I use plastic bags or I don't use straws, that they have the power to make a difference in the world.
The thing I like best about my profession is that it allows me to be creative while using the math and science that I learned in school. The subsurface is different from foot to foot. And so when I walk on site to try to design a foundation, sometimes on one side of the building I have to design a foundation that's totally different from the other side of the foundation. And the creativity is what keeps this job really interesting, because no two jobs are the same.
The thought of being able to take something that I'm doing today and that could actually help somebody down the road is really important to me.
The part that I really love the most is being able to really feel the passion that is behind why candidates are running for office, and helping them figure out how to translate that in their communications, whether it's in words, in their delivery, in their body language, or their paralinguistic features.
What I like best about my job is that the work I do contributes to research for clients that are interested in sewer system response and planning and the design of urban infrastructure. And ultimately, this type of research can lead to improvements to lessen the effects of flooding.
The thing that I love the most is how it impacts people. Being able to take a part in shaping communities and building communities for people to thrive, and just the satisfaction of knowing that I can make this world a better place through the built environment.
Being a faculty is a very dynamic occupation. You get to work on very exciting topics, and along the way you meet with new people, you start to learn about new ideas and new topics, and before you know, you're going to work on problems that you never thought you were going to get involved in. So it's very exciting, and the opportunities are endless. The other thing that I like about this job is working with students, mentoring students, and giving a lecture. It makes you feel like you're really giving back to the community.
Doing science just for the sake of learning something new and not applying it is not really that interesting to me. So this is a really good opportunity to apply what I know and what I've learned and build something. And this something is going to help people. It's going to help create cancer treatments and therapies.
Pursuing this career option, it doesn't mean that it has to consume your life. You can live your life at the same time. I was able to get married and buy a house and live in a different country and make friends and develop hobbies, and so you can have a very enjoyable and fulfilling life, both by pursuing science as a career and in your home and personal life too.
Make sure that you're taking care of yourself, and taking care of your body is taking care of your mind, so that you can be your best all the time.
One of the interesting things about the veterinary field is that now it is almost all women. It's a very heavily women-dominated field, which is fantastic. We, I think, are very compassionate. We love animals, and we definitely have the skill set and the determination and the knowledge to get in there and be fantastic veterinarians.
And I would say don't get discouraged. And like I said, science can be very intimidating and very hard, but that it gets easier over time. You learn more over time, and it's a competitive field, but you can find your own voice if it's something that you're really passionate about. And I think the key, and it sounds cheesy, but really finding what you're passionate about is important as a scientist, because it's a hard job, because there's a lot more failures than there are success, and you have to be prepared for that. So being really passionate about what you're doing helps you get through all of those lows in the process.
Honestly, my resume was the main thing that got me the particular positions in the scientific field, meaning I tailored my resume to the positions that I was looking for. And sometimes you have to, everything is not always posted online, so I would always go to specific scientific parks and just kind of talk to the people in the laboratories, maybe go there and ask for, is someone here that I could speak to? I'm interested in being a part of your company. What can I do?
My best advice is to is to always be in charge of your own career. And don't just follow a path that somebody else has laid out for you. Don't follow a path that you think you're supposed to follow because you got certain types of training, or that other people have laid out. That your neighbor is not necessarily going to have the same career as you. And so, something that I feel like I didn't do a great job at early on is I just followed the path that everybody else was following, and it really ended up not being quite right for me.
Get experience, find out what it is that makes you tick. Something that I did during my undergraduate years was I spent time doing different things in the summer that I thought would interest me as a profession, but I wasn't sure if it was a good fit.
In fact, I think an internship is a really good way to figure out what you don't want to do. And so I encourage people to go out and take that chance and take that internship and do that stint in a national park, or volunteer somewhere where you think you could help using your skills, and decide if that's really what you want to do.
Lastly, I would like to leave you with the advice that has helped me immensely when I'm struggling with these emotions, and that is to try to compare yourself only and only to your past self.